Oh, he's doing the castle music. So good. All right, I have
guys,
to pop
in
this.
the bottom right-hand corner, we have the purple Protoss. He's not the one lagging right now. Actually, it's Katu. Katu?
I'm here. I don't know what happens. All right, we're good.
Probably that blind pianist, man. This guy, uGpV. He's going up
uGpV just sounds a little bit too close to HPV for my liking. Any kind of PV, man. I don't like the PVs. They're not very good.
Diseases tonight, man.
I'm tired.
Rainbow going up against, oh god. uGpV guys going up against none other than StarTale's Rainbow. He's going to be our blue Terran spawning in the top left-hand corner here on Antiga Shipyard.
Antiga Shipyard, pretty good map for macroing, right? Because we've got those 3 bases very close together with one central area that you have to defend. You are a bit vulnerable to drops, but even then, not that vulnerable. And especially as a Protoss player, if you get quick blink, you can actually move very, very easily from the main down towards the 3rd there, just blinking down instead of going around through the natural. And so not too vulnerable from drops there if you go for that blink play. And that's actually one of the reasons that we see a lot of players going for blink. The second reason is that there's so much coverage along this main base, so much area there where you can blink in, and it's just so difficult for a Terran player to really defend everywhere at once. On top of that, they often rely on bunkers in the early game to keep them alive. And of course, blink gonna deny the usefulness of the bunkers, and we'll have to see if that is the play here that uGpV's V is going to attempt here this game. We do see that StarTale Rainbow goes for a barracks into refinery play, and over in camp uGpV, gateway into assimilator. Now Cybernetics Core, will he get a second assimilator or go for a 1 gate 1 gas expand?
We'll have to see. Cybernetics Core nearing halfway down.
That's like the worst thing, because like, we'll have to see.
Yeah, man.
Period.
Like the Tantalizer. I think that name should that sentence should actually have a name. That's what I'm gonna call it.
The Tantalizer?
Tantalizer.
Alright, we gotta get some theme music.
Normally a word you use in regards to taste buds. We've got themed music, man. You just can't hear it right now. That's fine. I don't know. I'll be listening to the blind pianist soon enough. Meanwhile, looks like uGpV there doesn't take a second assimilator, so he's likely going to go into a 1 gate expand. There's the command center going down for StarTale Rainbow, and he did get the gas. He mined 128 of it, and then was like, you know what? I kind of don't want gas. And hasn't done anything with it, has stopped mining it, and we'll have to see when he resumes said mining and production. Meanwhile, still no Nexus here for uGpV. He's taking his sweet time, continues building units here, and he actually is pushing out with a Stalker and a Zealot. I think out of Rainbow, we're seeing the same build that we saw last game out of him, where he's getting that quick stem. We see him mining the 100 gas again, then ceasing the mining of gas, building the command center, dropping 2 barracks. So that's very likely behind that uGpV going for a Nexus. Still only on 1 gas. Dropping 2 gateways down. Is he going to go for that Nexus expand into the 1 gate expand into 3 gate pressure that we were seeing earlier out of RSVP actually? Rainbow was able to handle that quite well.
Yeah, after, he learned his lesson on Calm Before the Storm, he was like, you know what, let's get a couple of Marauders out, and that's exactly what he's doing right now as he gets that stim upgrade. And yeah, like you said, I think it's a very similar build. And the fun part about it is that you get the gas earlier, so it makes your opponent a little bit more scared, right? And it's like, oh, he's going for gas, he's going to be doing either a Marauder, Reaper expand, or he might even be doing something a lot more aggressive, like some kind of 2 racks with a reactor with a Tech Lab, Marine Marauder push, maybe even a 1-1-1, maybe just straight up Cloak Banshees or Hellions. And between the unknown, right, you have no idea what's coming your way, and the possibility for both aggression and some mid-level economy-based play, you're just not going to attack, right? You're either going to expand in a safe manner, which we've seen uGpV go for. He's added on those extra warp gates and now robotics facilities, so that's like textbook safe play. Or you're going to go for like super greedy play as well. But most of the time, you're not going to get too aggressive yourself. And Startail Rainbow takes advantage of that. And it's all because he gets his gas a little bit earlier.
Right now, flying is expansion. Out to the natural expansion is Rainbow. Getting that Gus earlier, man, I do like it. I really do.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's cute. It's definitely something that works better at the higher levels of play.
Yeah.
Where, you know, like, you see that refinery, and then you're really like, okay, what is he going to be up to? And then you have to make sure to deny scouting with your Marines. And overall, right, there has to be like a fairly decent respect between the two players for their abilities, and to realize, like, okay, you know, I've got to be defensive here, or else I could really pay for it.
Yep.
This is a good player. He knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. These Stalkers moving out across the board right now. With the robotics waiting that long, I'm wondering if uGpV really, you know, just trying to get some map presence, I believe. Taking his little Naga Tower, trying to make Rainbow a little unsure, making sure Rainbow constructs at least one bunker at the top of his ramp, which he does. And behind this, we have uGpV. All 4 gases now fully operational. Making
I
a
love
second
that
observer.
voice.
I do too, man. That's why I actually had to like pseudo imitate it for a moment there.
It makes no sense, right? Like, it makes some sense because Blizzard is like, well, this is the whole human race, you know? So we've got to get the different accents, the different cultures in there. But by whatever year this is set to be in, it's going to be a world culture, man. There's not going to be no more racism. Actually, there probably still will be, but it's still going to be a world culture. Everyone's going to speak the same.
You know what? Let me highlight the fact that you could actually, you know, say I'm not familiar with StarCraft lore to this extent, but how did Terrans actually get started?
Terrans are just like humans.
Yeah, but did they land on the planet that they currently reside on in multiple locations?
They've been estranged, I think, from Terra Nova.
Yeah.
Which is Earth, I think. I don't know. No, Terra Nova is New Earth or something. I don't know. Dude, I play the campaign, but I just skip through the cinematics, and that's just a straight up truth. But here come Stalkers into the main base.
Combat Shield's gonna be targeted down here, and wow, both Tech Labs actually going down immediately. Rainbow not looking like he knows what he wants to do here. He doesn't want to load up into the Medivacs to come up, because then and he's going for the trap. uGpV now sees the Marines and Marauders on the low ground. He's going to get completely trapped. Every single Stalker goes down for him. Honestly, I feel really bad for uGpV right now, because did you know, Katu, if you actually shift-click blink, you can blink from this ledge where he died across to the opposite side?
Yeah, it's pretty tight, though. It definitely is pretty tight.
You definitely have to shift-click him. It won't work if you don't.
Yeah, it's a shift-click move, and either way, though, that was beautiful by Startail Rainbow, just trapping those units there. And I think his first blink was just like a panic blink. He's just like, oh my god, we gotta get away from here, this is bad. And then by the time he realized what he should have done, it was too late. His blink was on cooldown, and now we've got the huge counterattack coming forth from Startail Rainbow. He's got Marines, Marauders, and even though he didn't get combat shields, he did get Stim. He's got Stim, he's got Medivacs, he's got everything he needs to do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, we see that uGpV is trying to take a secret third base to try to get back into this game. I love that kind of play. I love that kind of risk to take to get back in the game. But can he survive this attack? Beautiful force fields go down. The Zealots are doing quite a bit of damage. But nice pickup there from Startail Rainbow, going to keep most of his units alive, and he now will be able to go for another attack here. He needs to make sure to not forget to drop all those units. He needs to make sure to not forget to drop off all those units, and then go for the second attack. Looks like he won't, though. He's just happy to keep his opponent on 2 bases while his third orbital is complete, and that's why you gotta love this kind of risky play by uGpV. And not only that, but there are 3 Dark Templar now moving out as well. Yeah,
they're going to see what kind of economic damage they can perform upon Startail Rainbow's base. But honestly, man, he's got plenty of scans loaded in unless he drops mules, like right now. Which he's not. He's going to have enough to deal with this, and sees the Dark Templar actually coming in. Almost gets a twofer. But he's going to have to drop another scan down, does so, and those Dark Templar are cleaned up. There's still one. residing over here towards the third.
Yeah, but a turret now on the way for Startail Rainbow, and that means that any attack into the main or natural is not going to work out. And meanwhile, this guy's going to get spotted pretty darn quickly, and one more scan will clean that up. He still has more than enough energy for one on his main orbital, even if he can't land this particular orbital. And it looks like that DT there on hold position, so it's actually going to sit there and wait until SCVs show up and then try to do some damage, which won't work. Because scan goes down and Startail Rainbow takes out the Derek Templar.
Turret going out in the front. I really, really like this. We saw this on Metalopolis earlier. I don't believe it was from Rainbow. But does a great job at deterring any observers as well as Dark Templar.
Yeah, meanwhile, we did have one DT try to go into the natural. It did get picked off immediately as it got in range of that turret, though. Now Stalker's blinking up into the main base, going after add-ons yet again. And look at that, this time around with an observer in position. uGpV was able to spot the Marines and Mirage trying to go for the block, and now he sets a trap of his own. The hunter becomes the hunted.
Absolutely beautiful there out of uGpV. Setting that observer up, able to see everything, as you said. Now he's got quite a few medevacs, starting to get out those ghosts. 3 of them pop right now. He's about to finish up +2/+2 upgrades, whereas uGpV just finished that, now starting his +3/+3. But Rainbow, I'm a little thrown off because this was the point in the game where with Rainbow's builds, we almost always have seen Rainbow ahead in food. And uGpV definitely should have seen that drop. And it looks like he did. He kind of reacted to it for a moment, and then realized he was reacting to it with Zealots and Immortals.
But there's the Warpin of Stalkers in his main base in position to defend, and now he's going to get all the way over here to this base to actually deny the retreat. So those Stalkers are going to be caught in a little bit of an uncomfortable position. Will Startail able to pull them back in time? Indeed, he does. He spots the Stalkers there, even uses a scan. He's going to try to drop anyways. The Stalkers are a bit out of position, though, and here comes the drop. It looks like the Blink Stalker is going to get there in time to take out one of the medevacs. The other medevac going to follow suit, and meanwhile, those Marauders here are pretty good against Stalkers in general, but with Blink, we should see here our player uGpV able to pull back the Stalkers in time, and indeed that's exactly what we were able to see right there.
Yeah, 2 Stalkers for 4 Marauders. Good trade there for uGpV, trying to get himself back into this game in a greater fashion. But as of now, really jumping ahead in food. I'm wondering if Rainbow's macro is slipping up just a little bit.
It's the 4th base, man. This sneaky 3rd base of uGpV is now the 4th base, as the 3rd has been taken. He's got 82 probes. That's actually a shit ton of probes for a Protoss player. That's a lot. He's now adding on 6 extra gateways as he's getting up close to max, and he's pushing out across the map here with these +2/+2 units. He's a little bit split up, though. His Stalkers are going for the main, while the Zealots, the Immortals, and the High Templar are estranged over here to the left. There are Storms, though, on the field, 3 of them in those High Templar. Marines and Mirage trying to deal with these Stalkers, and meanwhile, those Stalkers going to get caught. Overall, though, he might try to do that Blink, but look at the position of that supply depot. I don't think he'll be able to do it because of that supply depot. The reactor there going to go down on the starport, and meanwhile, even if he does lose these 7 Stalkers, not really the end of the world. He's taking a 5th base now up here in the top right corner. Some Marines and Marauders and Ghosts are trying to go down here and attack the Zealots, Immortals, and Sentries. That's not a good idea. These Ghosts are definitely going to get taken out. Nothing can be done to stop that. Now the Marauder's going to fall as well, and Startail Rainbow here starting to fall apart a bit in this series.
Now coming in with a few more of his units, and I gotta say, Rainbow in his PvP, late game is definitely not the place where he shines. He's much more notorious for his sick, nasty early game. Even mid game, he can be extremely scary. But would really like to see him, continue to rally, or be able to rally here and deal with uGpV. He did wind up early. uGpV able to get back into the game with that hidden expansion. What's going to happen, man? Observer sees the army of Rainbow moving out.
And it also spots the orbital command, rather the command center, moving down into the gold base. It's probably going to actually transform into a planetary fortress. Meanwhile, we got some Zealots here on a rallied attack path. They're going to go into the 3rd base of Startail Rainbow, try to kill off some SCVs, and that's always a good move. But here comes the push from Startail Rainbow. He's maxed out, as is uGpV. Looking at the unit counting station, though, no Vikings. 6 Ghosts, 41 Marauders, 23 Marines, no Vikings. So these Colossus here might be a huge threat.
That's actually, those Zealots pulled back the entire army right now of Rainbow, allowing uGpV to get into the middle of the map. And some force fields here could be huge. Will he get them down? He I don't see any, but the Colossus are dealing massive amounts of damage to these Marines and Marauders, and it looks like uGpV is cleaning up with ease.
That was brutal for StarTale Rainbow. He's down to 114 supply to the 179 of his opponent. And as you mentioned, no force fields went down, no Guardian Shield even worked. And now we're going to see here uGpV has to fall back. He needs to replenish that Zealot count that he had. He needs to get these Zealots and Archons actually to the front before these Colossus get sniped. He needs to pull those back, let the Zealots and Archons get in the front, and now he will do that. These Colossus, of course, going to go to work on that planetary fortress. The SCVs should get to the back and repair. Indeed, they will do just that. Meanwhile, though, still an 80 supply lead for uGpV. Looks like we're going to have ourselves another tied-up series here. Kibbelz, the games, they never stop. They're so good tonight. No one can complain.
Yeah, maxed out uGpV right now to just 115 this supply for Rainbow and counting down. Zealot, Archon, Immortal, Colossus, Sentry Stalker, man. uGpV looking strong.
He really is, and if StarTale Rainbow wants to have any chance at all, which he doesn't actually have, he needs to get the sickest EMPs down here. He needs to hit the Archon twice and then hit the High Templar, but it doesn't work out, and now the High Templars are going to get a huge storm down. There they go, killing off the last of those units, and that is going to be GG 66.